All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everybody here watching this presentation live. Hold on.
Your sound just went on the blink.
Hold on. Obviously, it's open someplace else. Was that me or was that one of you guys?
Nope, it was all you.
Okay, good. All right, we're good now.
Yeah, RJ's custom made wisdom, knowledge, and humor. Yes, we are here. We are live.
Found it. I got it. I found the video. I had it open because I was testing to make sure the video was going to go live, and it did. And then it messed up my talking. So, all right. Hello again, everybody. Obviously, we are live. That's, you can tell, and anything can happen when it's live. So you got to watch to the end. You just never know. You never know what's going to happen. But I did want to say hello to everybody. Hello to everybody that's watching this live. Hello to everybody who's watching on a replay. Drop a like, drop a comment, say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you are seeing this live, say you're watching it live. If you're seeing it on a replay, let us know you're watching it on a replay. This is the Crypto Edge podcast. It's sponsored by iCoinPRO. And we do this podcast to really help give people an edge in crypto and keep them up to date on the latest news, what's going on, and also new coin listings. And then we also always have a great, well, almost always. Last week we did not because of a little scheduling snafu, which we're going to have Mike and Lily on here again really soon. But we like to have people who are professional crypto traders or people who have been trading crypto for a while on here live to talk about it, share their experience, and really help people understand what it's like to trade crypto, why they chose to trade crypto. Do they trade other things than crypto? All those different things it's great to talk to traders who are actually doing it and, learn directly from them. So we're very excited to have Carlo Cruz here. And Carlo's been a pro trader now for a long time. Actually, I've known Carlo since 2017 now, actually when we launched this company, and he's going to get into his story in a little bit. So definitely make sure you hang out. We're going to talk to him near the end. Paul, how are you doing today, sir?
Absolutely fantastic. So just a couple of shout outs from a couple of people. T.Y. Truong, what's up? RJs, you're watching live, welcome. And Canadian day trader Jeremy from Canada, welcome. Guys, keep those comments coming in. We'd love to know where people are tuning in from. But Justin, why don't we look at what's been happening in the news?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check out what's happened in the news. That's our first segment, and then we'll also get into the new coin listings right after that. All right. Paul, enlighten us. What is going on in the world of crypto? You've been researching, looking over what's happening in the crypto universe. What's new, Paul? What's the news?
All right. So you guys are free just to jump in and comment on any of these news segments. But for the last 14 days, and this is kind of the format that we follow here, is because we do this podcast every 2 weeks. We take a look at the news that's happened in the last 14 days. And I got some notes that I put together, things that kind of stood out to me. There's a lot that happens. This has now become a very, very fast-paced industry. Things change. There's new things happening all the time. So it's difficult to filter out through the noise to try and find really interesting stuff to talk about. But I do want to talk about Bitcoin's recent price surge. And I know that Justin's going to jump in here at some point to talk about it, but it looks like we're probably going to be breaking 100,000 again soon. Justin, what's your feeling?
I never know. There's a specific downtrend line that we're watching, right, Carlo? And until it breaks through that, Carlo's like, yep. Until it breaks through that downtrend line, it's gonna have a challenge. What's interesting though, and again, let's talk about this. The shorters the people who are shorting Bitcoin. And what a shorter is somebody who's betting that Bitcoin's going to go down, right? So if Bitcoin goes down, a person who's short actually makes money when the price declines. The shorter, crud, here they come, Paul. Here come the fake Justin Clarks. Listen, if you see anything that says it's me, telling you to send them Bitcoin, it is not me. It's just a scam account. I'm so sorry, but this happens on recently on all the different podcasts. So do not fall for that. Anyway, back to this. So the shorters are the people who are betting Bitcoin is going to go down. They make money when Bitcoin goes down. A person who's long, if you've ever heard that term, that means that they're betting Bitcoin's going to go up or whatever they're long on. Could be, Amazon stock. It could be anything. But, a long person means that they're betting that the price is going to go up. So right now we've got about 60. Oh, let's look at it up to the minute right now. There we go. I'll share my screen. So right now we have currently on Binance, which is what we watch. We watch Binance because the data there is, I believe, the most accurate. Because when they launched their program where they allow people to go long and short, the leverage trading that they do, it was around a time when Bitcoin's price was still a little bit higher. And so we can feel pretty confident about it. Whereas if you go over to BitMEX or some of these really old exchanges where they have the same type of data, it's so old. There are people who are long from like dollars or hundreds of dollars. You can't get anything from it that's effective. So right now we got the market pretty confident that we are possibly going to go down 62%, 62.46% of people are saying Bitcoin's going down. So they're putting their money where their mouth is. A lot of these people are leverage traders, Paul, which means they're taking out risky positions. Okay. So if they're wrong and it even moves up a couple percent, some of these guys can have their whole account blown out, right? That's how this works. This is not how we trade. We do not trade this way at iCoinPRO. We are very risk averse. But anyway, they're feeling pretty confident, but we're not over 70%. Once we exceed a 70% level here, then you're entering a territory where the market has really gotten way overconfident of the next direction, next move for it. And then you get the potential for what's called a short squeeze. And that's where, we could see Bitcoin, right, potentially make a dramatic move up with lots of volume as all those people that were betting Bitcoin was going down start to get squeezed out of the market or liquidated, okay, because they were wrong and Bitcoin's price goes up. So if we see the price of Bitcoin continue to creep up, we see these shorts, rocket over 70%, 71%, 72%. It's an overconfidence in the market, and it could not end well sometimes for those short people. But that sounds funny. For the people that are short.
I was about to say.
Exactly. But long story short, we're not quite there yet. We're still at 62%. The market could be right. And if it is, we could just see a retrace from here heading down. But if we do keep inching up, the short people who are short, I don't know. Now it sounds really weird to me now that I'm saying
shorting.
He said, if they keep piling in there and keep betting Bitcoin's going down, it could add up to that short squeeze. We could see a lot of them get wrecked.
And
right. I do want to talk about sentiment.
Actually, there's $4 billion of shorts that's waiting to get liquidated in the $100K mark. So
yes. Oh, ouch.
That's crazy. I do want to touch on a lot of the other sentiment that is surrounding, and it's not related to actual what we see on the charts, but it's everything that is happening on the outside. So we're talking about regulation, and there's other metrics that we want to look at as well. And there's a couple of interesting metrics, and the one is the Bitcoin hash rate. So when Bitcoin hash rate starts increasing, it basically tells us that Bitcoin miners who felt that it was not profitable to have their machines on are now starting to spin up those machines and starting to mine because they sense that there's profitability up ahead. So now what we've seen is that that the global hash rate for Bitcoin has started increasing. So this is a sign that people believe it's going to go up, and it goes against what we see that Justin just showed us here. That there's a lot of people shorting. They don't believe the price is going to go up. They're going to go. They think it's going to go down. So you have the miners who believe that, hey, listen, there's a possibility the price is going to go up, so we're going to spin up our machines to be profitable, versus these traders who are betting against Bitcoin. I mean, like, it's very difficult to try and figure out, who's going to win here. But there's other things that we need to look at as well. We have a look at general market sentiment. The one big piece of news that came out, New Hampshire, of all the states, first one to come out and cement a strategic Bitcoin reserve. We've had a couple of other very close, we had other states coming very close to actually implementing, and then some of them got vetoed right at the end. But this is cemented New Hampshire, the first state to implement a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So this type of sentiment also gives confidence to Bitcoin and the general crypto market, and makes people go, you know what, like, if the US states are actually doing this, it is worth looking at. Because, I mean, you're still going to have a lot of people going, sitting back and looking at Bitcoin and going, I don't really trust this thing. When the whole world is sitting up and taking note, and we've got a lot of big institutions, big companies. I don't even want to talk about companies like MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet, who just keep on adding more Bitcoin to their books. But Strategy is a very interesting one. A lot of people know who Michael Saylor is. This man just keeps buying. His most recent buy, what did he buy recently? Another $180 million worth of Bitcoin. Now sitting at 555,450 Bitcoin. Okay, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy, basically holds more than 2.5% of the entire Bitcoin supply. Why are people betting so big? And you still have those people going, nah, I don't trust this thing. Okay, and funny enough, one of those people was, I believe it was a senator that vetoed one of the bills to create a strategic reserve, saying, yeah, it's an untrusted investment, or an untrusted virtual currency. No, you know what? I think Bitcoin and a lot of crypto has gone beyond trying to define it. But, like, I'm not American, so I don't know what it's like to be a man in the street in America and listening to what people are saying on a daily basis. So I'm going to turn to these guys who live in the US. Justin, what are people in your area saying? And Carlo, to you too. Like, are people generally more open to Bitcoin now, or is it still like, nah, I don't trust this thing?
Oh, I think people are open. Everybody knows about Bitcoin, but hardly anybody has it. I mean, that's just the reality. I mean, isn't it something like there are 100 million people worldwide that actually own some Bitcoin, or some around there, which, compared to what's the population?
I do believe that total exposure to crypto worldwide is still in single digits. So that basically means less than 10% of the entire world's population are invested into Bitcoin. I would have thought that America would be a lot higher, being quite a progressive, if not one of the most progressive countries in the world, with biggest uptake of technology in history would be America. So one would think that Americans would be a lot more open.
Yeah, everybody knows about it. Nobody's doing anything with it. By and large, it's just it's still not, even though it's mainstream and known about, nobody's really investing or using it yet, which means what the future holds, who knows, right? I mean, it's just amazing as it gets more and more adoption, more and more people take it seriously. I mean, we'll just have to see what actually happens. But yeah, there's not a ton of people worldwide that truly know about Bitcoin. I'm looking at one article here, and it says, on the left is it's a ball representing 460 million Bitcoin addresses to ever have a balance greater than 0.0. Of those, 288 million hold no Bitcoin in them at all today. This is updated for 2025. The remaining 172 million represent the Bitcoin addresses that make regular Bitcoin transactions. Of those, 147 million belong to exchanges. Wow. Bitcoin services, merchants, or other kinds of market actors. Only the remaining 25 million addresses are believed to be economically active wallets that belong to private people on the network. Wow. And we were hearing stuff like that. It's like, okay, we were supposed to be decentralized. Honestly, it seems pretty centralized to me. The exchanges control everything. Crazy.
The network is decentralized.
The network
what I've noticed also,
the network is decentralized, and that's where a lot of people make a big mistake when they're saying, that sure, you have a lot of whales and big institutions.
Yes.
BlackRock is one of them. Holding a lot of Bitcoin, it doesn't make it decentralized. No, I really need to set the record straight here. The decentralization part does not refer to who's actually holding all the coins. It refers to the network. The network is made up of millions and millions of computers all around the world, which gives it that decentralized nature and gives it its security. But yeah, let's see what RJ says here. Starting to own coin and converting all of our NFTs called dollars to their coin. He thinks that this is more legit than us. Yes, and it also brings me to another talking point that I wanted to bring up regarding stablecoin regulation. Because there's an act called the Genius Act, which has now gone to the Senate, which aims to regulate stablecoins with licensing and consumer protections. Okay, and this is where the whole idea of stablecoins being used more readily than actual paper dollars, push is going to come into that, which I do believe a lot of that money could then flow towards Bitcoin. It helps more on ramping, but we'll have to see. But there's definitely a lot more openness to a lot of regulation. The UK is looking at regulating crypto now. They've turned down the idea of a Bitcoin reserve, but they're very open to proper legislation and regulation around crypto. But yeah, good point.
So here's one thing, Paul. So if those numbers are accurate, that means that only about 6.5% of the population have ever been exposed to Bitcoin, just based on the amount of, again, that's not even accurate because these are just wallets. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know how many individuals have multiple wallets. Like I have multiple wallets across multiple different things, right? So even paring that down further, eliminating the exchanges, which again, exchanges can represent individuals. Anyway, you're looking at somewhere, I would think probably 2 to 3% of the actual population has ever bought Bitcoin. Do you see what I'm saying? Like worldwide, that's just where it's there's very, very few people who ever have.
Right.
Yeah, what I've noticed also with the people that I spoke with, or that I talked to around my area, yeah, it seems like everyone does know about Bitcoin. It's just they don't do anything about it because they don't understand it. I mean, the most basic information, they don't even know. Like it's limited to 21 million. They don't even know that. And right when they hear that, it's almost instantly that a light bulb click. It's like supply and demand. And that's when they get more interested. It's crazy how
Yeah. I always use the analogy of shopping for strawberries in the off season, which explains, which then people kind of get that, because when strawberries are not available, the price shoots up because they've got to import them, no matter where you are in the world. And imported strawberries are expensive, supply and demand. So when you use that, like, hey, listen, this is an asset that is so rare. It is probably the most rare thing on the planet at the moment. It does cause light bulbs to go off. It is what it is, and people need to understand that. But I'm not telling anybody go out and invest into Bitcoin. You have to have an appetite for risk. You have to know what you're doing, and we don't offer advice like that. We're not licensed to, and we never will. I just like it. That's my personal take. I love Bitcoin. Justin knows this. A lot of people know that I love Bitcoin, but I'll never try and convince somebody else to buy it. But I will convince people to educate themselves. I won't tell you, listen, take money out of your pocket and go and buy Bitcoin today. I'll never say that. I will tell you, you know what? Don't shoot it down until you know what you're talking about. Go and read books. Sept, what's his book called? The Bitcoin Standard. Read that book because it explains it in a very good way for people to understand. I enjoy getting into debates with people about how it could work, how it couldn't work, and so on. But I refuse to get into a debate with anybody that has not done any research. Like if you're just coming at me blank and going, no, it's crap and it's a scam and it's a Ponzi, I don't want to debate with you because you obviously don't know what you're talking about.
You're gonna get
my best advice to anyone, even if you hate it, even if you do not believe in Bitcoin and crypto, study it. Otherwise, you're going to make yourself look like an idiot. Like you can't argue something because everybody's got an opinion, man. Like, and you're allowed your opinion, but is your opinion an educated opinion or uneducated?
So my opinion is to trade it, and I will tell people to do that. But all right, I got a question for you, Paul. Now we're going to stoke the conversation a little bit.
All right, I'm on the edge of my seat here, man.
Quantum computing. When's it going to crack Bitcoin's code, and what's Bitcoin doing about it?
It won't ever. And here's why.
All right, tell me.
Because there's already talk about preempting quantum computing and changing very slight things. It won't be to change the entire Bitcoin protocol. It's impossible. But to make it quantum resistant. And the very same way that there was a lot of cryptos that had this ideology that crypto is for the man, it's for the person, and they don't want it controlled by big players. So they made their proof of work coins ASIC resistant. So if they can do that, then they can definitely make Bitcoin quantum resistant. So it will never happen, man. It won't. Not in my lifetime.
So how would a change like that come about? What has to happen? Who votes on something like that?
From the little bit of research that I have done regarding quantum computing and if it can crack Bitcoin, it might require people having to move to a slightly different wallet. And yeah, there could be fireworks for those people who haven't, but Bitcoin itself won't be cracked. Like you won't be able to. Even at current day server farms with massive computational power, shaft 256 is such a massive computational number that Mickey, you're right. It's US and China that's making Bitcoin move at the moment, but it is such a massive requirement that even at today's standards, it would take millions of years to try and crack that encryption. Now, what does quantum computing do? It speeds it up maybe 1,000 times. So you're still looking at 1,000 years. It's not anything that's going to happen soon. People say, but it could happen. Okay, well, if something can't be cracked in 1,000,000 years, and you make something that's 1,000 times faster, it's still going to take 1,000 years to do anything, by which time we've moved on from Bitcoin. There's going to be another form of money. I don't think that Bitcoin is going to be.
We won't even need money. It'll be like that movie WALL-E.
Or what is the most rare commodity?
Nah, that's a good question. Hold on. Do you want me to Google it?
No. I'm telling you. I want you to guess.
I am gonna say, let's see. I'm reading what the AI overview says.
What a cheat!
I'm not gonna cheat. I'm just totally cheating.
GPT.
I don't have a good guess.
Time is the most rare commodity, and even though we all wake up and we have the same amount of hours in the day. Time, like if there's a movie with oh gosh, what's that thing? It's actually called In Time.
Oh yeah,
Justin Timberlake stars in a movie called In Time,
Oh yeah.
where they use time as a currency. So at some point in the future, we might be able to see people leveraging time, and we really see people doing that now, using other people's time. You know, especially people that employ lots of people. You're leveraging other people's time. You're not leveraging your own. So we could get to a point where there's some type of a currency that's based around time. I love that idea. I really love that idea,
bro. All right, let's move back to the news. What's going on in the rest of the crypto world?
Right. So there is something else that that I wanted to bring up that is based around sentiment. Okay, and it's the fact that over the last week or so, there's been way more inflows into ETFs than outflows. Okay, the inflows have been outweighing the others. This is a very bullish sentiment, which means that your retail market is pumping money into Bitcoin. Does the retail market know more than these traders that are shorting Bitcoin at the moment? Who knows? Okay, but it's a massive amount of money that's flowing inwards, not out. So we have to take all these things into consideration when trying to decide, is Bitcoin going to go up? Is it going to go down? But it's basically just out there that people need to do their homework and have a look at everything and not just ride excitement, because when there's all this sentiment and people are super hyped up and whatnot, we touch into that euphoria phase, and when we get into that euphoria phase, people don't think clearly. And that is when people get hurt the most. Now, Justin, you and I have seen this over the last, since 2017, we've experienced like third bull run or whatever the case is, where people lose their wits. I've had lots of friends that
their wits, Paul, they lose their life savings, and I've seen that time and time again. But anyway.
Yeah, but those are just some of the things that have been coming up in the news. It's all these things which sort of point in a direction that's very bullish for Bitcoin. Another one, and it's a metric that people don't always look at, and it's readily available. You go to coinmarketcap.com, you look right at the top, and it's called Bitcoin dominance. Now, when is the last time that Bitcoin's dominance was above 65%? I'll tell you, it was 4 years ago. It's been 4 years since the Bitcoin's dominance was above 65%. Now, if you don't know what Bitcoin's dominance is, it's basically, if you have a look at the entire crypto industry, how much money is in Bitcoin versus stable coins and all the other coins. The only other one that's up there that they measure is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum's numbers been going down, Bitcoin's going up, but it also means that the altcoins are going down. So what do we read from this when Bitcoin's dominance is growing? It means more money is flowing out from the other ones. We're not talking about new money that's coming in. It's basically people selling their altcoins or the Ethereum or their stable coins to move into Bitcoin. That's how Bitcoin's dominance grows. Look, new money also contributes to that. But it is a metric that is people don't pay a lot of attention to it. And I mean, as of this morning, it was 65%. It's a massive number. Last time we saw that was 4 years ago. So take from this what you will. And that's pretty much it on the news, unless you guys have anything else that you want to bring up and touch on.
Carlos getting some nice kudos here, so that's really awesome.
Carlos,
yeah, he's a great guy, man. Like he's killing it in the market right now. It's crazy.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
awesome. Yeah, so Paul, I'll tell you, it seems like the altcoins have not had the party that they've had in the past recently with this run for Bitcoin. Maybe that's going to happen now. Who knows? It's a fool's errand. The thing is people are always saying, it's going to go up or it's going to go down, and half of them are right, half of them are wrong, half of them delete what they posted. So you never really know who's really right. A lot of traders are just whatever. The only thing I know is that fortunately it's here to stay. And fortunately we have a way we can just trade it in and out and keep, the party going no matter what happens with the overall price, of Bitcoin. In a lot of cases, our traders are able to just outperform the market hand over fist, which is awesome.
Yeah, I do want to add this though. I do want to tell you that I do know that Bitcoin is going to go up and down and up and up
That's
and
right.
up. And up. And
Forever.
every time that it goes up and down is an opportunity that you can trade between those two and make some money. So learn how to trade, folks. Learn how to trade.
Awesome. All right, Paul, why don't we get into the new coin listings? All right, I'm going to get back to sharing my screen. We're going to take a look at some of these new coins that have hit the exchanges. It's funny. The last time we did this, we had a few of the new coins kind of going up, which was like really diverging. It seemed like every week we would check it. Every single new coin that got listed would just plummet and drop infinitely. And now it looks like we're pretty much back to the plummet and drop infinitely stage of the new coin listings. So, there's a lot of people on X.com, formerly Twitter. I don't know. I have trouble calling it X.com, but I'm still working on that.
To me, it will always be Twitter. I mean, like, do you still tweet or do you X?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't have the same verb.
Did you read my X on X?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Xing today. I don't know. It doesn't work the same. Okay.
Sure.
So there are a couple new coins. We'll just dig into them. This one's a little bit divergent. It actually started lower. Thank God. I mean, it's like so many of these, and I've seen people comment about this on Crypto X. Crypto Twitter just sounded better. But anyway, Crypto X. That the death of a coin is when it gets listed on Binance or Coinbase. It's like as soon as it gets listed there, everybody jumps on, starts selling the crap out of it, right? And then it's that's it. So let's talk about this first one called Sign. Let's see. It says here, Sign is building global infrastructure for credential verification and token distribution with two products. Sign Protocol, an omni-chain attestation protocol that powers digital public infrastructure for governments and functions as a foundational layer for decentralized app. Token Table, a smart contract-based platform for token distribution, including airdrops, vesting, and unlocks. So interesting. So this is one. It aims to bring trust to trustless networks and drive for the mass adoption of blockchain technology through revolutionizing informational verification and token distribution. So it makes sense that it would be called Sign. So it's kind of just verifying something on the blockchain. Sounds like it's going to focus on, when coins are distributed in some way, validating that, and also acting as a way to validate information being exchanged. It sounds like through different governments and other things like that. So kind of an interesting, take on things. You can see that the price actually responded kind of positively, did get some significant volume for Binance. It actually hit 221 million in 24-hour volume, which you can see down here for all you newbie traders. Right here, this is the volume, 221 million. It shows right over there. So that means people were paying attention to this. Looks like you got 1.2 billion Sign are going to be out there. So that's a lot. They're out there right now with a max supply of 10 billion. Interesting. All right. Not on Coinbase yet. So if that gets listed on Coinbase and we get some good volume, that could be a fun one to potentially trade. Okay, what's next? We've got Stakestone. Stakestone. Interesting. Almost looks like their logo almost looks like the Volcom symbol. Anybody know that brand of clothing?
Oh yeah.
All you, skate and surf parents. All right. Okay, same one here, Stakestone, same type of thing. It started lower, went up, now it's dropped down. Volume hit 84 million, so some good attention. Again, only listed on Binance. Stakestone is, well, there's other places, but as far as Binance and Coinbase, this only showed up on Binance. Stakestone is a decentralized liquidity infrastructure protocol designed to optimize yield generation and liquidity distribution across blockchain networks. Its solution, including liquidity pad and yield-bearing ETH BTC assets, empowers liquidity providers with efficient earning opportunities while meeting the specialized liquidity needs of ecosystems and protocols. Sounds like a DeFi type of thing. They're going to have 1 billion of these tokens out there. There are 225 million in circulation right now. So yeah, there we go. Stakestone. I don't know. I guess we needed that solution. We'll find out as we move into the future. I was talking with somebody who is in the know about crypto, has built multiple things in crypto and networks, and he was one of the early Bitcoin miners. Okay, way back, he was mining Bitcoin, big warehouses full. And I was like, man, the one thing I think about is who actually uses this crypto stuff. And he says, not a lot of people really. It's like, especially when you get into the altcoins and stuff like that, like who is sending billions of dollars with this stuff, and what are they doing it for, and why, and what's happening? And it's just kind of a weird world anyway. But I guess in the future, the idea is that again, we're dealing with, what do we figure? 2-3% of the world's population uses crypto. So the concept is that all of this wealth will transfer over to, these blockchain crypto coins. And then it will actually get used for different things. So anyway, interesting. But yeah, he said currently it's very interesting, this money that's moving around in this crypto universe. Who's doing it? All right. If anybody knows the answer, just pop it in the chat box. Let me know. All right, let's look at the next one. Mantle. Mantle, MNT. No, excuse me. MANTLE. Hello, I can't spell today. This one got listed on Coinbase. This was just an immediate dumperoo. Let's see. This one is circulating supply of 3.36 billion of these. 6.21 billion is the max supply. And Mantle is a pioneering on-chain ecosystem dedicated to revolutionizing the future of finance and blockchain scalability, seamlessly bridging traditional finance and decentralized finance. Okay, so they're, I don't know, something to do with DeFi. Again, it's another, there's just so many of these things, right? These are these different applications and stuff. You wonder which one's going to win, which one's actually going to be necessary in the end, and your guess is as good as mine to try to invest in this stuff. It's literally, you're just gambling. You don't know what's going to do what. All right, next thing is WorldCoin. WorldCoin was actually on Binance, and actually it's been on there for a long time. Let's see, when did WorldCoin end up on Binance? Yeah, see, it's got a lot of history all the way back to 2023, which is an eternity in crypto. That's a long time. So they've now shown up over here on Coinbase. Obviously, some sellers wanted to show up when it got listed. Not a lot of volume. Nobody's really paying much attention to WorldCoin on Coinbase. Only a million. I mean, it's a lot. It sounds like a lot, but relative to other coins that are getting 10 million, 20 million, 100 million and up, which we haven't seen. Carla, you've noticed that. The last bull run, some of these altcoins were shooting up to hundreds of million in 24-hour volume and $1 billion in 24-hour volume, and we are not seeing that on the altcoins. We're lucky if they're breaking 10 million on Coinbase in 24-hour volume these days. For the most part, it's pretty darn quiet. So, all right, WorldCoin, WorldCoin officially the winner of the most writing. Like, they have actually let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs versus almost every other one's like a paragraph or two. But I'm not going to read all this. The mission of WorldCoin is to build the world's largest identity and financial network as a public utility, giving ownership to everyone. So there we go. Let's see. World ID enables users to verify their humanness online. Interesting. So it's something to verify that it's truly you online. And there we go. So that WorldCoin is not something we're trading right now because it just doesn't have the volume. Initia. Let's see what this is all about. It looks like Init, it's Init USD. This one is on Binance, not on Coinbase. You know, they're starting out low. Some of these are rocketing it up, which is kind of interesting. So actually, I was a little bit wrong in the beginning. Some of these did kind of go up. Maybe I looked at the wrong one. So yeah, some of these have increased a little bit of value from their initial listing, 20 cents up to 56 cents. Initia is a network for interwoven rollups combining an L1 and an interwoven system of customizable app chains. Initia's opinionated rollup framework allows teams to build application-specific blockchains with full-stack customizability while enshrining shared standards across the entire system to build a unified multi-chain world. Okay, and this has a $187 million market cap out of the gate. They are going to have 1 billion of these coins ultimately, and they've only released about 148.75 million of them. Volume, pretty good. For some reason, people were excited about this. I don't know. A lot of this stuff, it all sounds almost the same or similar to other things that I've seen. So why this one's going to differentiate itself from all the other ones, who knows? But people are buying it. It went up a little bit in price. Could be fun to trade if you're over on Binance. That's all I've got, Paul. Nothing, groundbreaking, earth-shattering right now as far as new coin listings. I mean, nothing that is setting the crypto world on fire. And definitely that's trending up. Like all of them, it's up, down, or just down, that's it.
A lot of them are that come from Binance, or the people that are holding BNB coin. They just dump it like the minute that they get the airdrop. So if you hold BNB on Binance, you automatically qualify for an airdrop based on how much you hold. So it kind of makes sense that a lot of these things that get listed through that mechanism, through their launch pool or launch pad, just dump because they don't want to hold the new coin. They just want to dump it for more BNB or whatever.
Yeah, just free money. All right, let's go ahead. And I'm excited about this. I want to talk with Carlo here. So let's get into our guest of the week. All right. So I'm excited to have Carlo here talking with us today. Paul, I know you've got some questions for Carlo. I think we need to just start out with the most basic stuff. Go ahead, Paul.
But before we do, I just want to point out, guys, if you're following on Facebook or YouTube or whatever the case is, this Shannon Peterson Tuttle is a complete liar. Justin did not give this person 3 times their Bitcoin back. It is a blatant scam. Please don't fall for it. Don't send any Bitcoin to that address. This is not an initiative by iCoinPRO. This is just scammers who are trying to scam innocent people. So just be aware of that, guys. Don't send any Bitcoin to these scammers. You're never going to get it back.
Yep. I'm trying to go over there and delete some of these comments. Facebook is kind of doing a good job at getting rid of them pretty quickly today, which is good. But again, they're still.
I'm just going to put up this warning. Just leave it there for now. We're not giving away Bitcoin, guys. It's a scam. And like, I hate that we have to do this, but it's the world that we live in. Is what it is. But Carlo, man of the hour, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good, good.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're watching like this, Carlo's got a really awesome story that he's told a few times, and I love the one that he tells us that like everywhere he looks, he sees the numbers in like everything. He takes a look at gold and goes, "This thing is going to reach an all-time high," and screws nuts, it does. And like just to hear him tell his story about how learning how to trade crypto has changed absolutely everything in his life for him. It's quite phenomenal. But Connor, I want to just start off with like a really easy ball question here. What was it that sort of got your attention and drew you into this world of crypto and trading?
Yes. And I want to tag something onto that too, because we know Carlo super well now after many, many years. But also give us a little background on yourself before you took this journey, Carlo. What were you doing before? And just so people know where you were coming from and starting.
Well, before I was actually just I mean, I have no financial background at all, you know. N- know nothing about money. I learned late in life about what interest actually is, like APY and all that stuff. And I'm horrible with acronyms, so I never got it. uh yeah, and not too good with math either. Uh just basic maybe. I struggled with calculus. I've actually probably forgotten algebra. I haven't done that in a while. But yeah, I mean, this is it's trading. It's not really that complicated as people think. Is just you just have to have the right strategy. Yeah.
Yes. And professionally, what did you do before you got really involved in trading and stuff like that? What were you doing for your career?
Man, that was I was actually with AT&T at 2017. Yeah, I was at AT&T at that point, um, doing just the sales and everything. But I actually took a risk and partnered with somebody and opened up a Metro PCS store. And I think I still have that picture. I had while I was in my store, I had this setup where I was trading every day in my store. That's when I started getting into you know, iCoinPRO and started learning how to trade. But yeah, now trading and everything, it's totally changed my life. It's uh one of my main source of income now, if not probably the main source. I mean, it's paying my mortgage, you know, every month. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's funny. So you got into iCoin Pro in 2017, and you learned the whole system. Kind of like I forget. It took a while before we really like connected. You were using the system, trading with the system, actually like breaking the all kinds of records and with different exchanges and stuff like that, or ending up at the top of the different exchanges. Why don't you touch on that a little bit before like we kind of really reconnected after you had been trading for a while with the system and crushing it on multiple platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to date back again at the very beginning, it's funny we're talking about scams now right here on the headline. Don't fall for scams. I actually fell for a few before I got into, learning how to trade with I couldn't find everything. But, that was back in 2017, but I just kept persistent, kept consistent and just started learning more, trying to control my emotions and, late 2017 around November, December. Granted, it was the bull market as well, so it was a lot easier, but I regained pretty much everything that I lost through scams, you know.
Wow.
And then it just what's crazy is 2018 hit and it was another bear market, right? Um, what's cool is yes, I did take a little bit of loss, but it wasn't as much as it should have been if it weren't for what I learned, And going into 2019, we bottomed out. Everyone was still scared, but with everything that I learned, I knew that was the utmost opportunity to just keep going at it and everything. And I just kept going, doing the strategy that I've learned, and to my surprise, I believe it was 2020. I don't know. It was either late 2019 or 2020, one of those years. I will, uh, KuCoin, one of the exchanges, gave me a certificate saying that my account outperformed 98.5 or 98.8% of the global users. It was crazy. I was like, what? I didn't even know. I was just doing my strategy. So day to day. But yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and so
Awesome.
from there, you took that to there. Now, back this was we're talking about. It was only what 5 years ago, but it feels like ancient history because I think a lot of these type of platforms, which were doing like copy trading and stuff like that back then, they aren't around anymore, and they're being more cautious.
Yeah.
But you had some where you actually got. I think hired to do it. And how did you do when you were following the strategies you learned here over on those platforms?
Oh yeah. I was actually one of the professional traders on two different copy trading company. And it wasn't every month, but it was most months I was actually their top trader. The only thing that separated me from the other traders in that company was the tools that I was using through iCoinPRO. The trade finder tools and everything. I mean, it does pretty much half, if not more than half of the job for you, instead of trying to pinpoint everything. It's all listed there. All you have to do is just look for the right stuff that we teach, and just go from there. um yeah, like you mentioned, though, those companies aren't around anymore. It's not because of it didn't work as far as the traders. It's because of the latency of the system. It was just I saw a lot of lag every time. There's times where I was doing the trades, I was always making profit, but I keep hearing other people. I mean, I'm not even sure how many thousands of people are plugging in and doing,
The
plugging
same.
in their API, but there's a few of them that's saying is like, did you lose a trade today? It's like, no, I didn't. So it was just the system lagging and not selling fast enough. So
Yes.
that's why it never really worked out.
Yeah, and it's when you're trading, scalping like we do, which is where we're getting in and out. Timing is everything, right? I mean,
Yeah,
some of my
exactly.
trades will literally be 5 minutes. I mean, 10 minutes. I think when we pulled my data from September 2019 through March of 2023, my average trade time was about 30 minutes. And that was it. So, but one thing that is anyway interesting about that is when we pulled all of that data, I ended up winning like over 97% of my trades, which was kind of cool. And if there were any that were longer, generally it was one of two things. It was either I meant to do it, which was the minority, or I really messed up. So if my trades go over a half hour, I'm generally like, yeah, I probably broke a rule here in the system for sure. If they're a week long trade, oh boy, I really messed up. But that's a minority. I mean, I think now, um, even though I had one where I just absolutely ate it recently. But looking at my overall numbers, I in my personal trading portal, I have 752 trades, and I'm looking at 7 losses out of 752 trades. So how am I doing? What is that? That's 7 divided by 752 minus 1. It's insanely good. It's like a 99% win rate. Yep. Yeah, 99.06915% win rate right now. Again, I mean, I should outperform because I developed the system. I understand it intimately. But we have a lot of other people who have been, very, very successful with it, like yourself, Carlo, over time. I mean, in long periods of time. We're not talking about just a couple good months and we, go rent a Lambo and, do some Instagram posts. It's, long term success.
So, Carlo, I've got to ask you, man.
Yeah.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this now?
Oh man, I have no idea. I actually never thought about that.
Can you see yourself doing something else, or is this it? Like you found your vehicle?
I've always been interested in growing up, like being a businessman. Like picturing myself wearing suits and carrying a suitcase. Like those Wall Street stuff. I've always been interested in, like the Wolf of Wall Street movie and all that stuff and everything. And now that I'm actually, one of those professional traders, I guess you could say, um, it's totally off script. It's not even like that. But knowing the knowledge, I definitely feel it. Like I'm confident in talking about finances and trading and technical analysis and all that stuff. That's something that I've always wanted to learn and do. So yeah, I guess if I was, I don't know. I never really thought about that. I've always focused on doing this in the future, and which is now.
So awesome. So listen, I've got to know, man. Who's going to be playing you in the movie?
I don't know. Some Filipino guy.
Like your story is so interesting, and I wish more people could actually have tuned into some of those sessions where you told us like some of the things you did, and how like you took a look at gold, and like it is so inspiring, and it's a story that like I want to share to the world, because you really are an inspiration for a lot of people. I mean, like you really cemented yourself in this, having no background, bad maths, and yet like there's that old saying about the cream rising to the top, and this is something that you've totally owned. So I mean, I take my hat off to you. Like
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. But it's testament to the fact that anyone can do it, right? Like if you apply yourself and learn, it's just it's just process. Just take the time and learn it, which is exactly what you did, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm not sure if he wants me to. I'll do it anyways. The guy that commented a while ago. Oh my gosh, he's been in and out of this industry as well. He's been here for a while. There you go. There he is right there. But man, like last bull market was, I guess, was his breaking point. I mean, it wasn't too crazy, but well, according to the stock market, it would have been crazy.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
but we're in crypto, so it's not too crazy what he did last bull market. But this market right here in the past year and a half, I don't want to disclose anything that he's done, but it's some crazy amazing stuff. I even told him yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? It's like, man, I think the student have surpassed the mentor.
Yeah.
It's
But that's
crazy.
what,
He's
that's what anyone who's a good mentor wants that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carlo, I got one last question here for you before we wrap up the podcast here today. For people who are thinking about trading, right? Obviously, we have our free boot camp. So if somebody shared this video with you, you can get back with them, get the free boot camp, start there. But what's your advice for a person who's wanting to learn how to trade as a new trader? What would you tell them to help them get started and get on the right path?
Oh man, there's so much rules in running in my head right now after you asked that question. But I guess the most the most I guess the best advice is don't ever invest what you can't afford to lose. Um, and the
True.
hardest part of this thing is not learning the system. The hardest part is actually controlling your emotions. That is what wrecked me at the very beginning. You
Hmm.
know, when your emotions start playing crazy tricks on you, you start, you start not following your strategy, and you start straying away from it, and making bad decisions. Just keep to the strategy that you learn, and it'll take away the emotions eventually. It seems
Yes.
like it's almost like you're gonna start trading like a robot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Revenge trades is a bad thing.
yeah, and eventually, what happens is it actually becomes a part of you. One thing that really changed my life with iCoinPRO is what I see in everyday world. It's not just in crypto or finance. As far as everything, I started being more patient with everything. I mean,
Hmm.
like everything. I'm a lot more patient, um, calm, uh, and also everything that I see as far as like even when I'm driving or at a restaurant in line waiting, this and that. I look at everything as a probability now. Like it's everything's percentage and probabilities. Like
That's
what is the probability of this guy cutting me off? You know, it's definitely made me a better driver. But and yeah, it it's it's crazy how your perspective change with everything that you learn in this industry.
That's
yes.
also
And then going back just to talk about it really quick about Paul, because he said he always liked sharing the story with me calling out the gold price. That was actually back in 2019. It's actually it's still in my YouTube. I mean YouTube, Facebook. It's still there. I screenshotted it. I don't know where it is in my gallery, but it was late 2019. I think it was around October. Uh, I saw that the Bitcoin chart, it surpassed 1,300. That yes, I mean not Bitcoin, gold, and yes, gold was at 1,300 at that point, and around that year, and when it broke out and it started um, going up to, I saw it was gonna go up all the way to 2,000. And usually when gold starts going up and everyone starts investing in gold, excuse me, investing in gold, that's a hedge, right? So I called saying there's an imminent recession that's about to happen. Not sure what was going to affect it, but it was about to happen. And sure enough, 2020 COVID hit and everything went down. I mean it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
oil went at a negative.
Could you
So
imagine that? They couldn't even get rid of it. They had to pay people money to get rid of it.
basically that's what going into the negative means. They would have paid people to store oil on their front lawn. Like
yeah.
crazy.
But yeah, and I wasn't even really expecting much with that call. I was surprised myself. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just called a recession." That was
Wow.
probably one of the biggest calls, first and biggest calls I've ever made. But yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, and I think you have a YouTube channel. If anybody wants to follow you, connect with you, watch your videos, what's your YouTube, Carla?
Oh yeah, it's Crypto Cruise. Exactly how it's spelled. Crypto Cruise. Search it. Search it. I do a lot of technical analysis in Bitcoin. I'm still growing the channel, so your support will definitely help grow my channel and make me give me, I can make better contents along the way.
Awesome. That's cool. It's
I'll put
funny.
it up there. So follow Carlo on YouTube, Crypto Cruise, like that.
I think it's no space. Uh, I think there's no space on it.
Ah,
But yeah, but it's Crypto Cruise.
It's funny. You had a lot of good advice for new traders. Me personally, I'm like, if you lose a trade, go all in on the next one. That's what you need to do. No, I'm just joking.
wow. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you saying?
That's the best way to get your money back.
All right, follow. Last question, man. Listen, what's gold going to be doing?
What's that?
What's gold going to be doing?
Oh, please, we are not giving
Gold.
investment. We are
I'm
not
kidding.
giving investment advice.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm actually gonna go and watch some of your videos after.
not
Oh,
financial advice, but I do I
ladder.
am looking into gold, kind of just chilling out a bit. I mean, the chart says it has to. Like, nothing ever goes straight up, you know. And
Nope.
we are overextended. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion of what I see in the gold chart. Possibly going down to where's that? I haven't really looked at gold in the past week. Is it still at 3,500?
I don't even know.
Because my thing is I'm looking at 3,000. That's the
Hmm.
next support line.
Okay. Well, again, not financial advice, everybody. It can go wherever it wants to go. We just like
3386.
to trade in and out of all these crazy assets because, yeah, you just don't know. It's such a wild time, you know. And if anybody thinks that they know, or they think there's some big money controlling the trend or something like that, you couldn't be more wrong. The more you look into trading, the big money, you know what the big money is doing? They're exacerbating the trend, which means that whatever way it's going, if it's going up and everybody's FOMOing in, fear of missing out, buying, guess what? They're going to stoke the FOMO with their bots. They're going to keep you buying. They're going to keep you excited. And then if it starts dumping and keeps going lower and lower and lower, they're going to make it keep going lower and lower and lower until it's so low that you don't even want to buy it or think about it. You're sad about all your neighbors you told to buy it. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you just want to puke every time you look at that chart, and then the trend will change. But the big money, they exaggerate the trend that already exists. They don't try to control which way it's going. That's been from my studies into trading and understanding, that's what they're doing. So, all right, everybody. Oh, Lori says, nice to meet you, Carlo. Well, everybody, thank you for being here today, listening in. Your comments are awesome. Paul, thank you for all that you do here. And Carlo, thanks so much for coming out and having this conversation. You know, it's great. We covered some really good stuff talking about Bitcoin, where it's at. Hopefully some people got some real value out of this. And again, if you do want to learn how to trade, we have a great system. You can learn how to trade. It can become your only trading system, okay? I never tell anybody that we have the best trading system that's out there. That would be absolute folly to ever say that. But you know what? We have something that's highly workable and maybe all that you ever need to trade effectively in the crypto markets once you actually learn the system. So get back with the person who introduced you to iCoinPRO or shared this video with you, and they can get you that free boot camp. You can do that. It takes you about 40 minutes. That's it. And if you like what you see, you can get going. I mean, geez, we're only $50 a month to use our system. It's incredible what we provide. Carlo, have you ever made more than $50 on a single trade using the system?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I'm just like, oh yeah, like I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, no, what's cool is the monthly payment has gotten cheaper. I remember we were paying 100 a month.
We're crazy. We're just crazy over here.
Yeah.
we
But
we
yeah,
reduced the price and invested more in the technology. So that's just how we roll. So yeah, we really care. We care about people succeeding. So we want to see people absolutely win. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out here. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the disclaimer. We need to do that because we got to make sure that we cover everything and make sure everything's factual. There is risk in trading. Okay. If you get in there and you just start buying stuff at random, God help you. It can get so bad you wouldn't even believe it. But if you learn how to trade, get to a point where you can understand the charts, doesn't take long. We have a 1-week course. You can really learn the system inside and out. It'll serve you well. And honestly, even if you just do the course, there's a couple things you can learn. Even if you never sit down and day trade with it, there's a few things that you can learn in there that can prevent you from making absolutely horrible mistakes in markets, okay? Save you from buying at the worst possible time and selling at the worst possible time, all right? So yeah, definitely tons of value in the training that we provide, not only in crypto, but in traditional markets as well. All right, Carlo, thank you. Paul, thank you. I'm going to throw up this disclaimer, and everybody have a wonderful rest of their week. And we'll see you in 2 weeks on the next Crypto Edge podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.